Is this thing on? You thought the new time slot was all that was changing? No, I told all of you. I'm taking over Rogue One Radio and starting now. So we're going to talk about nothing but South Park for the rest of
Hey, what are you doing? What? Get out of here. We're not the host.
Come on, man.
We are the host. You need to just go on. Get out of here.
Beans.
Yeah.
All I got to say to that is some people's kids. Just
wait a minute. That's mine.
You made me.
This podcast is a member of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts and content creators, visit bio.link/Red5.
From the remnants of Jeddah City comes a broadcast that will shake the Empire to its core. Rogue One Radio will discuss all things Star Wars and all things in the nerd culture, in and out of the galaxy far, far away.
I tell you, Steve, you should know by now that you are muted. You can't even hear us right now. This is glorious.
I thought I hit the unmute button. Okay. So, as I was saying, you're watching Rogue One Radio in our brand new time slot, but not without technical difficulties and things like not unmuting themselves. But this is episode number 116. Tonight we're going to be jumping back into our MCU retrospective and talking about a little Spider-Man. Anyway, what's been going on with you, DJ? A lot of work?
Yes, lots of work. We had our group from Wyoming down this week. So, yeah, we were in meetings left and right, long hours, but we got a lot of stuff taken care of. So, yeah, exciting stuff. Tomorrow's actually going to be really cool. We're going to fly a drone over one of our facilities. To try and get some better resolution for our GIS project and whatnot. Just as a warning to everyone, so I did go to the dentist last week, last Thursday. I thought I'm glad we changed our time slot because Tuesday wouldn't have been able to do this at all. But you might hear me slur a lot. I don't have teeth. Waiting for the rest for my teeth to come in, but yeah. So yeah, that's been my week.
Awesome.
Lou, what have you been doing?
Other
than trying to take over.
Other than trying to find a job.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for those what's the word? If it wasn't for those darned kids, I would have found both. I would have just made this my job, but I'm not doing much. I mean, I made my big announcement, and then I've got. Yes.
What is it?
What's your big announcement? You didn't do it on here.
Oh, I am starting my own podcast again. It is me and my good friend Jordan. It's called Calls from the Void. You can find us on Twitter. I think that's all. I think that's the only one we're on for now. But no, it's not called Blue in the Clues. It's called Calls from the Void. We're going to be talking about pretty much anything we want to. We have of plans. We're hoping to get some collaborations in the next month or so. We've got big plans, so that's coming. We premiere this Saturday.
So it's not South Park 24/7?
It is not South Park 24/7. That pitch did not go as well as I thought it would.
Okay, then. That's all you've been up to?
I mean, I don't know.
And it's called Calls from the Void?
Calls from the Void.
Okay. Yeah, not a whole lot going on here. Still not completely unpacked. I did make a video of like a video short of the progression of The Office so far. So I can throw that up here real quick, a little 40-second video.
I was going to say, that's really short.
Yeah. Thought I'd show a little video of the progression of The Office, or lack thereof. Nothing really has changed over here. Nothing really changed over here. Mostly nothing's changed. I got the TV up, but not mounted. And Xbox. So, and then, yeah, I've just got a ton of my books sitting on the love seat, which my cats don't really care for because now they can't sit on the love seat. But, yeah, so as you can see, no real progression.
That's a lot of books.
There's a lot of books.
You're gonna need 2 bookshelves.
No, I think I might be able to get by with one because the bookshelf I got is pretty big.
It'll be a big ass bookshelf then.
Well, we see it's a 5 shelf. I think I might have enough room. Maybe.
And it doesn't come from IKEA.
No, it doesn't come from IKEA. Well, let's see who is in the chat room. Spencer came. He was the first one in. And then we've got Scott from Used and Abused. And we've got Kelly. And we have Dragon Buddy. And I think that might be it for now. Oh, Tina's in there. Hey, Tina. And Patrick just jumped in. So welcome all to the chat room. And welcome to episode number 116 of Rogue One Radio at our new time slot here on Thursdays. Let's go ahead and start up the music. As we did last week, we have the little... last week we did a thing where DJ picked one of the songs, and we had you guys out on Twitter pick which one was his pick, and a few people got it right. But we're going to do that again this week. So we've got 3 songs as always, and one of them was picked by DJ. So once the show is over, I will post the poll on our Twitter, and you tell us which song you think DJ picked. But to kick things off tonight, we have a band from Dayton, Ohio called the 1984 Draft. They just put out an album last month via Pop Tech Records called Best Friends Forever. And the song we are going to play from them is called Two Cow Barrage. So here you go.
Shows the banquet halls, drinking 40s in the parking lot. Guess I am a lifer. are all still here.
All right. Two
That was
Cow
a good song.
Barrage by the 1984 draft. Yeah, it was good.
Good song. I really like the drummer in that song. But was it good
Yeah,
enough
same.
for me to pick? Was it? Was
I don't
it?
know.
Let us know on
Could be.
Twitter if you think I picked that song.
Don't know.
Man,
So
I forget.
while we were playing the song, Megan jumped into the chat. So welcome, Megan. She's going to be in for a few minutes before she heads off to watch Ant-Man. The Podfather Roe is with us as well.
Dragon Buddy.
Dragon Buddy was in before.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So we are Rogue One Radio, which is part of the Red 5 Network. And the Red 5 Network is home to 30 plus shows. You can check out all of them at the link down there, bio.link/Red5, and check out all the cool podcasts that are running on that network. And our show would not be as good as it is without our patrons. So we would like to stop and thank our patrons that support us financially. So thank you, Dave, Kelly, Chris, Don, Nicholas, Scott, Kim, Amanda, and Mandy. Thank you for support. And if you would like to contribute to the show, just jump over to patreon.com/Rogue One Radio, and you can support us for as little as $1 a month.
Woo.
Let's see. I don't think we had any announcements this week.
Spider-Man 4 was confirmed, I guess.
Yeah.
So fitting that this would be the week that it was confirmed.
Yeah.
To me, that was like the biggest one that stuck out. A couple of video games got delayed again.
Yeah.
It really, it's about all I got as far as news-wise or announcement-wise.
Yeah.
Other than, I guess, there's now a big delay at Disney Plus for Marvel Phase 5.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know exactly what all the details are there. So, yeah, we'll see.
So the only other announcement is stick around after our show at 9:30 Eastern Time. WSTR Media will be on after us. So check out that awesome podcast. And if you missed us on Tuesday, it's because we don't go on Tuesdays anymore. Our time slot was taken. We moved over here to Thursdays, and then our time slot is now used and abused, who used to air earlier in the day on Tuesday, right before we did. Looks like Roe's going to go to sleep.
Later, Roe.
Yeah, and if you haven't listened to Used and Abused, I definitely recommend it. They have an amazing show. You'll see some familiar faces on there as well.
That's right.
But yeah, great show.
Yeah, I think this last show they did was about favorite like movie couples.
Ooh.
So that was good. Good stuff. We did all our weekly what you've been doing stuff earlier in the show than we usually do. Because usually we have more time in between music breaks, but we got another music break for you. And then after that, we're going to do our Rogue One Radio's picks of the week. But the song we are going to play for you today comes from a band out of Nuremberg, Germany. And they have an album coming out in March via Thousand Island Records called Breathe. And this is the first single from that record. And oh crap, did I upload it? Yep, there it is. And it is called Sicker. So here it is. Enjoy. All right. Sicker by Melonball.
That was a good one too.
Good stuff. I think we had some interest in the chat on that one. Tina, where was the thing that Tina said? Where was it at? Where's it at? Okay, here we go. I could get a speeding ticket listening to this in the car.
Yeah. I really like the guitar in that one. But
yeah,
did I like it enough where I picked the song?
We'll see.
Let us know on Twitter. Did I pick that song? Or did I pick Two Cow Barrage so far? There's one more.
Yeah, Kelly, I hear a kitty trying to get in too. Give me a second. Otherwise, they're just going to keep meowing.
Yeah, I agree. Lunar, she does sound an awful lot like Lizzie Hale. Not quite as gravelly, but she did a very good job in that song.
Yeah, they're going to wait until I sit down and start meowing again.
Of course. They're cats.
Yeah. What'd I miss?
Nothing.
Blue, you're muted. Blue, you're muted.
Yeah, I figured that out.
Yeah.
Like father, like son. I tell
Yeah.
you.
How dare
There's
you?
a kitty out there, but it decided to walk away when I wouldn't let him in.
There's a
So
word for that. It starts with an A.
do tell.
Asshole?
Yes,
Well,
cats are that.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted you to open the door, schmuck.
He just wants to disrupt the podcast, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Keep him away from Saturday, please.
It is time for Rogue One Radio's picks. Did you have anything this week, DJ? Have you watched any movies or
Yes,
TV shows that's been interesting?
yes. Okay, so I'm kind of on a retro kick when it comes to reading.
Okay.
So I started back with Dragonlance Chronicles. I picked up. I don't know how to make it come clear.
Looks like a book.
I don't know how to turn this off either, the background thing. Anyway, it's
It's
Dragonlance
aesthetic.
D&D book, Shadow of the Dragon Queen. So it's a campaign setting for Dragonlance. And that got me thinking, man, I really want to go back and read those books. They were done in the late 80s. So I just got finished with the first one, Chronicles Book 1.
Who is the author of that one?
Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman.
Okay.
So
And it's called Shadow of the Dragon Queen?
Let's see. This is the D&D book. So Wizards of the Coast put out this one. The original books that came out, and there were like 50 in the whole Dragonlance series. Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman did the first 3. Then they kind of branched off a little bit. Other authors came in and wrote, and then they wrote 2 more after that. There was Autumn Twilight, Spring Dawning, and Winter something. And then they did Summer Flame. And then they just released a new one not too long ago, which I haven't read yet. But yeah, late 80s books. If you like that high fantasy type Dungeons and Dragons feel, very similar to like a R.A. Salvatore for Forgotten Realms, just a different campaign setting. They really did well. My second pick is a song that came out today. It was dropped. A lot of people don't like rap, but I'm kind of partial to it. And the artist NF dropped a new one today called Hope. It's really good.
NF, like N is in Nancy.
Yes. Nathan Flowerstein, I believe, is his name. He goes by the name NF. He is a clean version of Eminem. Sounds an awful lot like him. Really, really good. But I relate to a lot of his songs. But yeah, so that's my 2 picks. Hope by NF. And he'll have a new album that drops on April 7th. And the old Dragonlance books.
So Hope is a song, not an album.
It's the name of the album too. But it's it's the title track to his new album. He's very theatrical when it comes to his videos. Lots of strings and musical things, really hard beats. And the subject matter is something that I definitely relate with. Personal struggles and different kinds of things that happen to people when they grow up, as they're growing up, that I have similar experiences with. So yeah, it's a pretty good artist. And then yeah, Dragonlance, who can go wrong with high fantasy books?
Sure. I didn't actually think of anything today. Completely spaced it, but I did just finish a book that I will recommend. Actually, this is a reread for me. But I just finished reading Darth Bane: Path of Destruction. So if you've never read the Darth Bane trilogy, I've actually only read the first one. I've never read 2 and 3, but I plan to start reading 2 or 3. But just based off the first novel, it's really good. It's written by Drew. Help me out here, Blue. Drew.
You just trying to call me Drew.
I can't. I can't pronounce this last.
1 second.
Blue froze, but you can still hear him.
Carpation.
Something like that. Yeah, I think your background, your blur background, is cutting out your bandwidth. So I did finish that, and then also, speaking of role playing games, DJ, I found a bunch of my books for a game system called Riffs, which is actually one of my favorite role playing games, aside from Star Wars. But I found a bunch of my Riffs books. I have quite a few of those. So if you are into role playing, tabletop RPGs, Riffs is a really cool one to check out. It's in a post-apocalyptic Earth, primarily Earth. That does get into space a little bit, but primarily Earth, post-apocalyptic, and it is a mix of technology, so like robots and railguns and laser guns and stuff like that, kind of like Robotech almost. So kind of a cross between, it mixes technology and also magic. So it's kind of part Robotech, part D&D. But it's a really cool game system. I've been playing it, since the early 90s. It's a real fun game. So it's put out by Palladium Games. They actually still print new content, even after all these years. If you are interested in that, I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. So
can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got an echo going. What? Who's?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you, but you're.
Can you? Yeah, I see it.
Are you listening to us on YouTube as well?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, you need to take that off because it's causing a.
So try leaving and coming back in and see if that'll correct your problem.
Yeah. That might not be a bad idea. Okay, so that is it for our picks today. I actually don't know if Blue had any. I told him he didn't have to worry about it because he's just a guest anyway.
The Dingus Den had their first content drop. So if you haven't heard that, go check that out.
That is right. The Dingus Den had their first. You're right. Let me tell you. I'm going to try to find that one, and let's see. That was a February Nintendo Direct 2023 retrospective. Is what he did his first episode on. Is Nintendo Direct kind of the Switch version of Game Pass? I really don't know.
I believe so. I don't have a Switch, but I think that's what it's called. I've had 2 Switches, and that's when they were going for high dollar, and I ended up selling them because with an Xbox and a PlayStation, I just really wasn't going to use it, so I just sold them.
Yeah, we've got one, but I don't really get on it all that much because there's not really any games that I want to play on it. But yeah, so make sure you go check that out. Okay, he's back. Let's see if it's working now. Okay.
Is it working?
Looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like it's working.
Cool. I'm back.
All right. That brings us to, oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Spencer just answered us. Nintendo Direct is where all the big Nintendo announcements come from. Huh, good to know. So that brings us to our final music break of the evening before we. I told you didn't have to worry about it.
But I actually have stuff.
I told you not to worry about it. All right, go for it though.
Okay, so I also have a song. It's by a band called Lovejoy, which originate in the UK. It's the singer is a streamer or a YouTuber I watch quite a bit, and it's a pretty good song. I recommend it.
What is it called?
I'm getting there. It's called "Call Me What You Like." It just came out this week or last week.
Okay.
Cool.
And then
"Call Me What You Like." All right.
Yeah, by Lovejoy. Yeah.
Okay, there it is. I see it.
Yeah, nice.
All righty. And did you say you had another one?
I think you froze again.
Blue?
I
think you froze again.
Okay. Yeah.
What's your other one?
My second one is I just started watching Breaking Bad, and I know I'm like a decade or so late to the party, but I really like it. I think.
Uh-oh.
Your internet's been really wonky, dude.
Your internet's not working.
I live in an apartment building. Leave me alone.
And it's not even it's like a student housing building too. But yeah.
So Breaking Bad was a good show. A lot of it was filmed here in New Mexico, not too far away from where I live. And an actor friend of mine was actually one of the production assistants for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, which Better Call Saul is the continuation of, or a spinoff of Breaking Bad.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, he dropped out again. So Isaac jumped into the chat room. So welcome.
Hey, Isaac.
Isaac. And he just asked a question. What's the laundry up? I have no idea. What is the laundry update?
Clean and folded?
You're going to have to be more specific there, Isaac. I don't know what laundry you're talking about. But yeah, I did start watching that show. I only got maybe like 2 or 3 episodes in, and then I just kind of, you know me, I got distracted by something else. Blue, I think you're frozen again. Okay. Yeah. That's Rogue One Radio for you folks. Yeah, so another last music break of the day. And then we get into our main topic where we're going to talk about some Spider-Man. So the third song for tonight comes from a band out of Brooklyn, New York called Fat Heaven. They have a new album coming out next week via Sell the Heart Records. It's called Trash Life. And the song we're going to play for you from that album is called Quarter Life Crisis. So here you go. So that was what was it? Quarter Life Crisis from Fat Heaven. It's good stuff there. Kind of had a like Alkaline Trio vibe to me on that.
Yeah, Alkaline. I also heard some like drop kicks feel to it as
Yeah, a
well.
little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, really good song. I
Good
mean,
stuff.
surprised they're from New York. I mean, there's not a whole lot of good things that come out of New York, but
Pizza.
some of
They make good pizza
pizza,
there.
pizza's pretty good. Yeah, yeah. Maybe some certain podcaster friends of ours, members of the Red 5 Network that come out, originally from New York. So, yeah, not too terribly bad, I guess.
Yes.
But, hey, as long as it's not a sports team, then
I
we're
was going
good.
to say, we don't have any good sports teams. Uh, all right. Well, with that, we are okay. You got your YouTube playing again because you're echoing. There, Blue.
You can hear
So,
me?
yeah, so the best things to ever come out of New York is Dragon Buddy and Luna Girl. So,
yeah. Yes, I can hear you, Blue. All right. So we have got some Spider-Man to talk about. So we are jumping back into our MCU retrospective. We haven't done that in a hot minute. So we decided to jump back into that and let's talk some Spider-Man. So we're going to kind of go movie by movie here.
Yeah.
And I think DJ is going to provide us with a synopsis of the first Spider-Man movie in the MCU called Homecoming.
Yes. And as you said, Steve, this is the MCU Spider-Man's, not necessarily all Spider-Man movies, but just the three Spider-Man titled movies, not even the ones that he's been in, but the ones where he was the featured character.
Right.
All right. So,
because we first saw him in Captain America: Civil War.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Spider-Man: Homecoming was the title. It came out in. I had the date. Now I lost it. 2017. Thrilled by his experiences with the Avengers, young Peter Parker returns home to live with his Aunt May under the watchful eye of mentor Tony Stark. Parker starts to embrace his newfound identity as Spider-Man. He also tries to return to his normal daily routine, distracted by thoughts of proving himself to be more than just a friendly neighborhood superhero. Peter must soon put his powers to the test when the evil Vulture emerges to threaten everything that he holds dear. So there is the brief synopsis of Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay, so yeah, this is the first, solo film that we get for this version of Spider-Man. And so you wanted to talk a little bit about specifically Tom Holland as Spider-Man. So what are your thoughts on him?
Well, I really enjoyed it. Now I have to go back to the other Spider-Man as well. So you had Tobey Maguire. I thought did a really good job as Spider-Man, but I always thought of his, even though he was kind of in high school to start with, I always thought of him as a slightly older Spider-Man, probably like college type. So in Tom Holland, I know he's already that age, but I could see that that younger vulnerability that he brought to the table. I really enjoyed his performance, and he was really believable as a younger Spider-Man. Kind of had help, but wanted to do things on his own, but couldn't really do things on his own because he really didn't know how. And it's just that battle between high school life and trying to help as many people as he could. And I really thought that that Tom Holland really pulled it off. I think he's out of the three, he's probably my favorite to play Spider-Man out of the three major newer releases. I know he's had some other Spider-Man before, but out of the three main actors, I really enjoyed his performance the most. What do you think?
I agree. He was my favorite of the Spider-Man actors as well. I always thought that, like, looking back, I felt like Tobey was a good Peter Parker, but not so much a great Spider-Man. While on the flip side, I thought that Garfield was a great Spider-Man, but not so much a great Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Whereas with Tom Holland, I think we got a really good, well-rounded portrayal of the character. He looked young enough, because neither one of the other guys looked like they should have been in high school. Right. But he also had that familiar, like, if you're a big Spider-Man fan, like even outside the movies, like in the comic books and whatnot, he just brings a really a good familiarity of the Spider-Man character. He's kind of a wisecracker, and he's got that young aesthetic and mindset, and I just think he's a very good, well-rounded pick. I think they did a really good job casting for this movie, as the MCU has done probably 98% of their characters. But yeah, I think Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man and a great Peter Parker.
Yeah, I agree. Not only that, his chemistry with the co-stars that he has,
Yes.
whether it's, I can't think of her name.
Marissa Tomei.
Zendaya.
Zendaya. Yeah.
Or Nick. I think, isn't that his name? His guy in the chair.
Yeah.
I mean, his core friends, his relationship with Aunt May, completely believable. The relationship that he had with Tony, that grew throughout that movie and beyond into other movies, was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The angst between the villain and it just was so believable, and you don't get that with every actor. It's like, yeah, he could play that role well, but how does he interact with the other people that are around him? And yeah, he really did a good job.
Yeah, I think his interactions with the other characters was good. I especially liked his interactions with, and even as we get further into the series, his interactions with Happy. That's really good. And then even his interaction with just kind of the dynamic he had with Vulture. Just great.
Yes.
Which kind of leads us into the next topic of discussion. We were actually going to talk about the villain in this particular film. Of course, this one was pretty cut and dry. The villain in here was Vulture, which I think it was a good idea to bring him in as early into the series as they did, considering in the original comic books he was one of the first villains.
Yeah.
So it wasn't your typical comic book version of the Vulture, but I still liked this version of the Vulture. I liked how they framed his motivation for doing what he did, like how he got to like being just a regular guy turning into the supervillain. And then Keaton in the role was just perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, it's we can talk about casting. Michael Keaton, returning to a comic book movie was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, he nailed it out of the park. I actually believe right out of the get-go, when the guy from what they call it, cleanup, or the department of
Damage
whatever,
control.
damage control. That's it. Yeah, it's like, oh, you shouldn't have overextended yourself. And he just saw. He's like, you're right, and he smacks him. Oh, that was just, and it was great. He's like, hey, you're taking my livelihood. I bid on this contract. I got this contract. We've already been doing the work here. So, just let us be. And, we're trying to do an honest day's job. And it didn't work. So now it's like, well, we're going to stick it to the government. We're going to stick it to, they're the ones who created this mess. We're just trying to help clean it up and make a living. And, and sure enough, yeah. And the cool part is it wasn't flashy. It's not like that he was, making millions upon millions of dollars and living in a high rise in New York City. He lived in a regular house in a good neighborhood. He took care of his family, and I really could relate. And it was so incredibly believable to have a villain come in without superpowers, without, without being, extraordinary, and to really put it to Spider-Man. I really thought that he did an amazing job.
Yeah. So Blue's back. We were talking about the villain Vulture.
Oh, I liked it. I thought it was pretty funny that they made Keaton fly around again.
Yeah. But yeah, like going back to you and I both touched on it. His motivation. You almost, you kind of felt bad for the guy, like what the government did to him. Like, I think in real life they probably would have paid off his contract. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe they would have just screwed him like they did in the movie. But yeah, he was a great villain. Pretty believable as a villain. So yeah, okay. So DJ, what were your overall thoughts about Homecoming?
I really enjoyed it. One, the acting was really good. The casting was really good. I enjoyed the music of it as well. It was completely believable. I bought into the story that they were trying to tell. I also really enjoyed the fact that they didn't rehash the origin. It wasn't another origin story. He just already was Spider-Man. Got that out of the way. And Aunt May.
Yeah.
We
didn't need another origin story. What were your overall thoughts of Homecoming, Blue? You're muted.
I know. I don't know why this isn't working. I think this computer is about.
It's Rogue One Radio. We got to have technical difficulties, man.
Not this many, man. Anyway, Homecoming. I personally really liked it. I think of the whole trilogy, it is the weakest link because it relies. I understand that that's kind of the point, but it relies far too much on Iron Man. like I understand that, like, yeah, RDJ is great. I love him too, but it just really felt like the entire movie lived and died with RDJ being in it. Which, I mean, yeah, that's kind of Spider-Man's whole thing in the MCU, but at the same time, it's just.
Yeah, and I could see that, and yeah, he did bring he was a strong presence in the movie, but and to your point, I think it really reflects beyond this movie because of the relationships that happen is what makes some of the events in further movies that much more impactful. So yeah, and I agree. And I said before that he's a high schooler. He's just starting out. He had one good showing with the Avengers. Now he's back to regular life. He's not ready for the big time yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see your point. Iron Man kind of does overshadow him.
Yeah, and I do agree that it is definitely to set up, onto Far From Home, and then to an extent, No Way Home. But I don't know.
I'm even talking about Endgame in
that too.
Yeah, that's that was your payoff. Was that relationship and that impact.
And I get that. I completely, logically, I understand that. And when I say it's the weakest part of that trilogy, I don't mean it as in this is absolutely bad and the other ones are really good. They're all good. It's weakest
it's not
link.
Thor Dark World.
They're not eternal. Yeah. It's not Eternals bad.
Yeah, it's not as bad as the Winter Soldier.
Okay, we're going to be muting Blue for the rest of the show.
It looks like Blue's internet's going out on him.
Yeah, it looks like your internet's going out again, man.
No, actually, it's working great. I'm surprised I got through that entire conversation without dying.
Yeah, really. I think it was a great introduction to the series. And overall, I really enjoyed it. One thing that none of us have mentioned yet, I really enjoyed the introduction, despite how small that introduction was, to Prowler.
Yes.
I thought that was really cool. And it's one of those where, like, if you don't know the Spider-Man, universe, you'd be like, okay.
You gotta know to know,
You gotta know to know. So Prowler is, of course, the uncle of Miles Morales.
Also played by Donald Glover. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So Prowler was played by Donald Glover, and he mentions his nephew. And it just kind of sets something up for the future, which is going to be great if it ever happens.
Here's my thing with that. Just as a second ago, obviously we'll get deeper into the multiverse and to an extent the Spider-Verse along the line. But I do think that it's feeling, No Way Home made it feel like that payoff will never happen, because Miles is known, so I don't know. He's known a lot for the Spider-Verse more than just being a one. I don't know.
I don't think it did anything to ruin Miles Morales' chances of showing up in the MCU.
Well, not so much that, as much as giving Miles the proper, Miles Morales feeling story.
Yeah.
Because, they closed off really at, No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness. It showed, moving through the multiverse just isn't really going to happen. And so it feels like that just kind of.
I mean, we'll see.
It could. I mean, think about who created the multiverse. I mean, Doctor Strange technically created the multiverse, but who was responsible for? Well, and we'll get into that. But yeah,
No,
I think that if they want to, they could definitely go that route. But we'll have to see.
Feige can do whatever he wants, and he'll figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
All right. So, Far From Home, DJ, why don't you give us a brief synopsis of Far From Home?
All right. Peter Parker's relaxing European vacation takes an unexpected turn when Nick Fury shows up in his hotel room to recruit him for a mission. The world is in danger as 4 massive elemental creatures, each representing earth, air, water, and fire, emerge from a hole torn in the universe. Parker soon finds himself donning the Spider-Man suit to help Fury and fellow superhero Mysterio stop the evil entities from wreaking havoc across the continent. There's your brief synopsis of Far From Home.
So, I think Tom Holland continued to do a great job as Peter Parker and Spider-Man in this one. I'm not sure what more you wanted to talk about as regards to Tom Holland, DJ, but you had left a note that you wanted to mention his second.
Yeah, just I've seen actors that do multiple movies in the same series or the same role, and they normally will have like a fall off during the second movie, and if not the second, then the third movie, where it just is like, wow, all right, well, maybe they're going to recast after this one because it's just not there anymore. But again, his interaction with his castmates really pull through, whether it's the animosity with the other guys that are trying to talk to MJ, or whether it's Ned ditching him for his newfound girlfriend, or his total flustered reaction when Nick Fury shows up, and it really pulled together, and he holds the cast together, and just really secures great performances. So I was really pleased to see that there was not a drop off in the performance when it came to Tom Holland.
Yeah, like he just wants to be a kid and do his thing.
Yeah,
I actually, this is a thought I've had. I like the switch between Homecoming and Far From Home, because in Homecoming, he's very much a kid who wants to go out and be in the big leagues and do all the superhero stuff. And then you get to Far From Home and he goes through Endgame and he's like, okay, I just want to be a kid. But it's too late. He's already he put himself in the big leagues, and now he has to deal with that. And that's one of the most quintessential parts of Spider-Man is he does not get what he wants.
Yeah, very well said. I like that. Yeah, it's he really wants that big time moment, and not necessarily. And I don't think it's really it's not like he's starving for attention, but he wants to be that big help, and then he's like, yeah, you know what, let's find somebody else to do it. That's I'm tired of putting my big pants on.
Well, it's also because in Infinity War and Endgame he had that, very much traumatic incidents. He kind of died just a little bit, and then he had to subsequently watch his mentor, possibly the only paternal figure he's had, seeing as we don't know anything about Uncle Ben, he died in front of him. And so he's coming back from that, and he's having to deal with the trauma that he has suffered as the world is like, no, we still need you in bigger stakes, or not bigger stakes than ever, but bigger stakes for him personally. Yeah. And as well as dealing with the loss of his father figure by finding a new one in Mysterio and Quentin Beck, which, as we know, gets him dicked over a little bit, so to speak. You know, and then, no, go on.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Hey, so Chantel jumped into the chat with us, so welcome to the chat room again, Chantel. It's been a while since you've been in.
Sorry, I'm back.
So,
I had to grab my power supply.
So this episode's or this film's villain, fairly clear cut again. We got Mysterio.
Yeah, Nick Fury. Oh, Mysterio.
No, and I don't know what DJ. What did you think of Mysterio?
Wasn't a fan.
I'm kind of meh.
Whoa.
Meh.
I mean, I think, I don't know. I didn't really. There's just Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't. Of all the casting choices, just kind of it was okay, but I don't know. I really haven't gotten. I don't. One of my wife's favorite movies is Day After Tomorrow, with Dennis Quaid and Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. And to me, Jake Gyllenhaal just ruins that movie for me. I don't like his acting style, and I didn't like him really in this. It was okay, but I think it could have been better. I liked the idea of Mysterio. I love how they created that concept with the Stark Tech to make it seem like he was something extraordinary. But yeah, I just couldn't get into that actor playing the role. Maybe it's just me, but yeah.
No, I think I'm in the same place. I kind of liked the premise of the character Mysterio, and I liked the motivation that they brought forth, why he did what he did. I, too, am not a fan of Jake Gyllenhaal. To be honest, I can't name a movie off the top of my head that he's been in that I've liked.
Bubble Boy.
Again, not a fan.
I didn't like that one either.
So really, a lot of it had to do with him, I think, and he just didn't do it for me. I know, however, that Blue has some alternate takes on that character. So
let us have it, Blue.
I actually love that Mysterio.
See, he was about to say I love that Mysterio, but he started to lock up and freeze up, and that's probably why.
You guys see me?
He's
okay.
That's
sorry.
what happens when you like the bad character. Oh, okay.
No, you like the Winter Soldier. I'm
gonna have to meet you again.
So you DJ said something, and I've forgotten it.
He said a lot of somethings.
You said beans, I forgot. Okay, so the Stark Tech, there we go. I personally, that's one of the things that sells me most on it. Or not most, but I love or I'm a big advocate for, you have to understand that these are not the characters that you're getting from the comics. These are
oh boy.
I'm getting
Welcome
censored.
to Rogue One Radio, folks.
I'm being censored. The government doesn't want you to hear this. So
The internet's censoring you.
So I really enjoy the fact that they obviously Quentin Beck Mysterio in the comics is an actor. He's like Carlo Basil Clayface. He's this actor who goes bad, and he's got this whole smoke and mirrors that mimics magic thing going for him. And I really love how they take that idea of like it's all smokes and mirrors that looks like magic and transfer it into a story that cohesively comes from the overall storyline that they're doing with Spider-Man, starting out with him wanting to just be this big time hero and appease Tony. Tony dies, and suddenly this this Stark Tech employee comes in and
Yep. I think I know what he was getting at. I really like the. Is he back, or is he now?
Maybe. Do I get to finish my sentence? Maybe. Internet.
Maybe if you'd quit freezing up on us.
Hey, you think oh yeah? Let me just stop pressing my freeze button here. Anyway,
I knew that's what you were doing.
I just really like that rather than do the normal smoke and mirrors actor thing, they went with Stark, which cohesively
I don't think he's going to be able to finish his thought.
Over.
It'll never come out.
I'm not enjoying this at all.
He's using Stark Tech.
Anyway, as for your complaints against the actor himself, I don't know him from anything, so I don't have any opinion on him. So, I allowed myself to enjoy it instead of being stubborn and old, Dad. So I
hope you freeze again. And he did. See?
Yeah. Good job.
So, overall thoughts on Spider-Man Far From Home. Personally, I thought this one was the weak link of the three. And a lot of it had to do with the villain.
I agree with you. What? Go ahead, Blue. You're unfrozen for the moment.
The moment.
How dare you? Okay. I did notice something about Mysterio on a rewatch.
Okay.
I'm still on this because I haven't gotten the way he kind of looks like Tony Stark.
Okay, well, while we're waiting for him to unfreeze, I thought this was the weakest of the trilogy, mostly because of the villain.
Yeah, I agree. To me, it's the weakest of the trilogy. I did like parts of it. Like I did enjoy seeing that where the technology came from. That the character was the one who developed the program, and I can't remember what he named it. And he was very upset that he named it this particular thing, and took the tech back and was going to make a name for himself. I enjoyed seeing Nick Fury in it. Samuel L. Jackson's always a treat to see. See, there you go, Blue. Hold it up to the screen, except for his screen keeps freezing too. He could write it up and then it might not ever go away. Yeah. So weakest of the trilogy, mainly because of Gyllenhaal, but it's it was still good. It just wasn't my favorite of those.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that even Far From Home was better than Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2.
How dare
Agreed.
you? I love Spider-Man 3, and you know it.
I know, that's why I said it. But we're not here to talk about the previous Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So what were your overall thoughts about Far From Home, DJ?
It was good. Not quite to the level that I thought the first one was.
Is the best Spider-Man.
Are you done?
Yeah, just talk. No, just go ahead. Just talk. I don't think this is going to work.
You're doing well, Blue. You're doing well, especially with all the technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. It just wasn't, to me, as good as the first one. Yeah, good story.
Okay, so let's move on. And how about we get a brief synopsis of No Way Home?
All right. So, No Way Home. So Far From Home came out 2 years after Homecoming, 2019. Spider-Man No Way Home came out in 2021. With Spider-Man's identity now revealed, our friendly neighborhood web slinger is unmasked and no longer able to separate his normal life as Peter Parker from the high stakes of being a superhero. When Peter asks for help from Doctor Strange, the stakes become even more dangerous, forcing him to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. That's probably the weakest of the three synopsises, but
no, I kind of feel like at this time, if at this point, if you have not watched No Way Home, it would not make any sense for you to come in and listen to a retrospective of it. So if you don't know what it's about, go watch it and then watch us later. So at this point, we have Peter Parker, trying to get into college, and things don't go his way.
Nerd.
And then he breaks the universe by asking. Well, you know what? He doesn't break it himself. You can't put all the blame on Peter. Some of that blame has to belong to Doctor Strange himself.
Well, maybe.
He's a grown man. He could have said no.
I mean, yeah, but he's trying to help him out. He's the new mentor. It's you thought you were going to get a mentor in Mysterio, but that turned out not to work well. You have this, a certified hero, not just some newcomer off the street, in Doctor Strange that feels bad for him. And is trying to help him out, but Peter just can't keep his mouth shut. Typical, young person just has to change his mind constantly and keep interrupting. So, I can't really fault him for that. But we've really seen Spider-Man grow and Peter Parker grow throughout these movies. You know, and as what Blue, you know, said very well in, you know, talking about the second movie, is that you see him where he, you know, he wants to be, you know, on the big playing field, and then he really wants to take it back. And, you know, you think now that, you know, Mary Jane knows and Ned knows, and, you know, and, you know, a few other of the heroes know who he is, and then all of a sudden it comes out, oop, Peter Parker is now, you know, Spider-Man, and it turns his world upside down. He can't even pretend to have that normalcy that that other people have and other, you know, teens would have at that point in their life. And it messes up everything. He can't get into college. It really messes with his friends, and you know, that's really, really hard to go through. So, and I was glad that, you know, Stephen Strange said, you know what, hey, all right, I'll help you out, and you know, then we see what happened after that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this movie, we had a lot of really great characters.
Yes.
I mean, kind of jumping on the idea of who the villain was. I mean, you could almost say Peter was the villain, but there were, you know, there were several villains who were clearly villains, and then there were some that were like villains by just by who they are. I don't know how else to say that. I mean, you got villains that, like, you know, they're villains, but are they really that bad?
Right. Yeah.
But like, you know, so we get Dr. Octopus, who is one of the greatest villains in the Spider-Man comic book history of all time. And you know, we get him, and then we get, of course, we get Norman Osborn, and then we get Sandman, who all of those are from the Tobey Maguire series.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Lizard and Electro from the Andrew Garfield series. So we get all of these villains. Am I missing anybody? I can't remember if I'm missing anybody. But yeah, we get all these villains from the other Spider-Man movies. But here's the thing that I found interesting. We didn't really get a villain specific to this universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can't talk about No Way Home without talking about the appearance of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield working alongside Tom Holland,
right?
Which was just amazing. And what can you say about it? It was great.
There are no words.
Yeah, and each one brought those characteristics that made them great Superman. You know, Garfield was amazing again as Spider-Man. Not the best Peter, but you know, Toby showed such greatness in being that not necessarily Spider-Man, but that voice of reason as Peter.
He played a great youth pastor.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. My favorite.
I mean, it was so cool to see all three of them together. And then to touch back on the villains, I mean, they all, you know, it's like, all right, well, their Spider-Man had gotten them, and they could see the error of their ways. And it wasn't until, you know, a few incidents that, you know, they reverted back. But Sandman, you know, was tried to help him out, and Norman Osborn, it was like he really seemed like he was, sorry for the actions that he had. Once Octavius got that new chip put in, it's like, wow, it was just amazing. I think Electro.
But then the Goblin took over.
Yeah, I think Electro was the main one that really didn't show much remorse. Once he started feeling that power, it's just like boom, and then next thing you know, he's corrupting the other guys. But I mean, and all three of them did, or all five of them did great. I loved the de-aging that they did for Defoe and Alfred Molina. I thought that was absolutely amazing. Man, it's I can't say enough good things about this movie.
So Dragon Buddy has a comment that I wanted us to discuss a little bit. He says, No Way Home gave Maguire and Garfield some real closure and completion of character arc or close to it, especially Garfield. His Spider-Man finally fixes what he considered wrongs of the past. Do you think...
No.
I think that Andrew Garfield's movies got kind of a bad rap. I mean, there were flaws in them, but I think the negativity was overemphasized. And I think he just didn't get a fair shake. So I agree with Dragon Buddy in that bringing him in to this movie to kind of clear up. Right. Just like Dragon Buddy said, I think they did a good job by bringing him in as well as Toby. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I really I enjoyed it, and I do think that it did bring closure. It ends that the Gwen Stacy debacle, I think it brought new love for the movies. People actually went back and watched Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 and saw a lot more than what the flaws were when they probably initially viewed it. I really think that it helped both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in their movies.
So before you jump in, Blue, I do want to say, okay, I did say we weren't going to talk about the other movies, but I think the problem with Amazing Spider-Man number 2 was the villain. I thought the villain was Wake.
Do you mean Baby Goblin or?
Yes, Baby Goblin.
We don't talk about Baby Goblin. You know who was a... You want to talk about a Baby Goblin, you watch Spider-Man 3 and you'll see a good Harry Osborn. I'll tell you what.
You know who was a good Baby Goblin?
Me.
Normie Osborn.
He's a comic book character. He doesn't.
Okay, we're not going there. Okay, so did you have any thoughts on the inclusion of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in this movie?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I get a turn now. Okay, I think that bringing them in, you guys have made a lot of really good points that I was also going to make. Is that it gave them a chance to rectify what they've done, as well as bring closure for things that they couldn't fix. But I think that is also what makes it perfect. Piling on top, I think that this movie really shows the difference between Spider-Man and your average Joe superhero. Because, Iron Man, he's not going to feel bad for Ultron when he blows them up. But Spider-Man, he has this instinct to help people. He just wants to fix people. And so having this movie be not, Toby, Andrew, and Tom just fighting these villains, and instead having it be, they're trying to cure these villains and, fix the mistakes of the past that they couldn't do alone. I think that's what makes it probably the best Spider-Man movie. Because it shows that Spider-Man is just a good person, just instinctively. Because even, Tom Holland, despite knowing that the Green Goblin was a pretty not great person, he still wanted to help him up until he kind of murked his aunt. But up until that defining moment, Tom just wanted to help, even though he didn't know these people. He instinctively went, okay, Doctor Strange, we're not just gonna kick these guys to the curb. We're gonna help them because if they go, they will die. And I think that this movie is really, it's the first movie was teaching Tom to be just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Far From Home was him learning, not always to trust blindly. And the third movie was him finally becoming Spider-Man and learning that with great power comes great responsibility. And really, I think that these three movies are just the perfect trilogy because it brings his story to such a perfect bow on top. And it also includes what every Marvel writer loves to do and just give Spider-Man the shaft. He just doesn't get to be happy. But even then, it's about, even though his friends and his girlfriend forgot him and everyone forgot him, he's still Spider-Man because the city needs him. And it despite the fact that he could just disappear. And I think that's what makes it the perfect Spider-Man movie in every sense of the word. Yeah. No, I see your private chat.
So, DJ, any final thoughts on like the overall thoughts of the No Way Home movie?
No, I think it pretty much said everything that I had. But just as closing, I really enjoyed the trilogy put together. I thought they told a really good story. We'll see what Spider-Man 4 brings. Hopefully it'll be another good one. But yeah, and I enjoyed it.
Definitely. All right, so that was our MCU retrospective of the Spider-Man series. Coming up after us is WSTR Media. And we will be back next Thursday to talk. Actually, we don't have a topic for next week.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out between now and then. So come back next Thursday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, whatever that is on Pacific. I don't know what those California people are.
Probably sick.
Probably. Yeah, math. Anyway, so thanks, Blue, for joining us and trying to take over. Everybody in the chat, thanks for coming in and listening to us on in our new time slot. And loved having you guys here and love talking about Spider-Man. And any final thoughts, DJ?
Have a good week, everybody.
Yep. And may the force be with you.